Good evening, Geek Nation. I'm George, and this is That Geek Show, the show where we talk about the latest and greatest from the worlds of collecting, movies, video games, TV, and tech. And with me, as always, to break all this stuff down is my band of merry men. First starting it up is my brother from another mother, Calvin, the statue fanatic. What's up, bro? Calvin, you there, bro? Oh, I can't hear Calvin right now. All right, let's move it on. We'll get to Calvin as soon as he gets back, I guess. All right, so bringing it up is my brother, our other brother from another mother, my Jewish mother. We're talking about Seth, the Pop Knight. What's up, Seth?
I wanted to wear the mask because I didn't want to show my face after the beating that I took Friday night.
So put the mask on if you feel that bad.
What's popping, everybody? Hope everybody had a great 3-day weekend. Glad to see everybody. So let's get this show going.
Yeah, man. I'm happy too, man. I'm happy everybody's here. All right, and then coming to us as always is Captain Puerto Rico himself, Eric. How are you, bro? You there?
Doing great, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's
Perfect.
Awesome.
Awesome 3-day weekend. Looking forward to going back to work tomorrow. Nope.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm not really looking forward to going back either.
Said no one ever.
Ever. Oh, man. So, Calvin, did you get your stuff worked out or no? He looks like
Calvin's gone.
Calvin's gone, so he'll probably come back. So, no problem. All right, so today we have something real special for you. Another one of our exclusive interviews that we have going on. And we have one of the coolest dudes in the industry. This guy is one of the founders of HMO Collectibles, has worked with XM Studios, worked with Ubisoft Singapore, and Royal Selangor as a sculptor. You know, so this guy's extremely talented and some of the best style and one of the best smiles in the industry. We're talking about Mufizal. How are you, man? Are you there?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, can you guys hear me yet?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can hear you.
Calvin,
Good,
we can hear
man.
you fine now.
All right. I don't know. I just left and came back.
So, Mufizal, thank you for joining us today, man. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man. It's raining cats and dogs out here right now. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
We hear you perfectly.
Hear you perfectly. Yes.
Okay.
We've been experiencing similar weather over here. It's been raining all day long.
I love the rain, man. I love the rain.
Yeah.
It's summer all year round here, so a little bit of rain never hurt anybody.
Yeah. I don't know. In Florida, we catch rain all the time. It's like,
Tropical storm came out of nowhere this morning.
yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
And you guys are not even in tropics, so.
Yeah. Well, we're close.
Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. The humidity level is insane over here. All right, so before we get this going on, you know, for everybody that's in the chat, I'm going to give you guys a shout out who's here. We got Vic. We got my brother John Medina up in the chat. We got Sofera. Sofera's in the chat. Is that how you pronounce her name, Mufizal?
Sorry, whose name?
Sofera?
Safara?
Sofara?
Yeah, Safara's stuck in the rain. She's walking the dog, so she's stuck in the rain outside right now.
So if you guys don't know, Safara is an insanely talented artist also. She does the box art for Mega Man and most of HMO's statues, right?
Correct. And she's also my wife.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay.
Mazel tov.
All right, so also in the chat, we got Big D. We got Jason Wilkinson. Pinche Borracho is back with us. What's up, Pinche? Adrian Montoya. We got Lewis in the house. Bizarre Kill Switch. Jesse Hernandez. And Ray Reyes up in the chat. What's up, guys? So
What's up?
we're going to be monitoring the chats. If you guys have any questions for Mufizal as we go through our interview, you know, we'll share that with him and, you know, he'll answer it to the best of his ability. And we'll get to this. So, like as I stated in your introduction, Mufizal, you have a hell of a list of places that you've worked at, and you know it's crazy. How did you get started in this industry? You know, how did this all come to be? Did you always want to be a sculptor, or you know, how did this all start?
Well, I guess when you say it like that, it makes me sound older than I am. So. Yeah, but started in the industry. So I've worked in plenty of industry actually. So my first gig ever was, I'm actually a qualified sound engineer. Not a lot of people know that, but that's what I do. I went to school and I got an engineering diploma for sound. So that was my first gig. And so I've always had these two things going on in my life, kind of thing. So I always have a day job, and then I have the day job that pays for the bills, and then I have my passion that runs at night. So you see, art has always been my passion. And when I was doing my engineering job, I was also doing a lot of freelance work. Back then, it was in maybe 2000, the year 2000. 3D Studio Max was out. It was a 3D software, and I started doing freelancing work for architectural, what do you call it? Architectural renderings and stuff like that. And then after a while, the stuff on the side paid more than my engineering job, and I kind of switched. So if you look at that pattern, that's how it goes along. So it keeps going from one career to another career. So after the freelancing finished up, then on the side, I was starting to do lots of video game work. Then after that, the video game work started, and then it was paying very well. But then I started to get interested in statues and collectibles and sculpting. And then after that, well, I guess the rest is history.
Oh, wow. Did you get into the statue as a collector, or you were a sculptor?
Right. So from the collectible side, actually, to be honest, the story was I was back in Kuala Lumpur in KL. I was walking around the mall, and I passed by this really cool tattoo shop called Shock Toys. So if you guys know Shock Toys now deals with Prime One.
Right.
So Shock Toys shop was in this mall, and I went in and I said, "Oh my God, look at all this awesome stuff!" But I can't afford any of them because it's so expensive. And I thought to myself, "Hey, I can do this. Let me try to do this." So I went home and I got out. I went to an art shop and got myself some clay, and then I started playing, and that's how I started it.
Cool. So Shock Toys, I've seen them recently. I didn't realize they've been around as long. It's a cool shop. I wish they had something like that over here. All the different collectibles they have there. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, their shop wasn't like that at that time. I think it was also under a different management. It was a really cool kind of like homegrown type comic shop / statue shop, because at that time there was not a lot of statues yet. A lot of things were from Sideshow and a little bit here and there. Lots of things from Japan. But yeah, it was a really nice, cool shop, and I think they took that concept and just made it bigger.
So you started out with architectural design. So that kind of explains some of the things that I've seen from your work. Because you do a lot of robotic looking parts, like these things you did with Mega Man here, the Bounties of Bathos, the Iron Man that I've seen you do. You do really good machine finished looking sculpts. How does that relate to the anatomy side of things? Did you actually go study anatomy afterwards, or is that something that you just picked up as you went along?
Thanks, George, for the compliment. But yeah, I think hard surface modeling is what we call it in artistic terms. So hard surface modeling is when you model mechanical parts, plastic parts. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Checking. Yeah. So mechanical parts, plastic parts, anything that has got a nice clean surface, they call it hard surface modeling. It's something I personally like. So I think that's why I kind of naturally gravitate towards something a little bit more mechanical. Plus, me being a motorhead, I naturally also go towards a mechanical side thing. As for anatomy-wise, I never went to a traditional art school ever. I just went straight from primary, secondary school. I straight away went to the audio engineering side, and everything on the artistic side I learned myself, and I learned from like the internet and YouTube, and out of pure interest and curiosity, basically. So the anatomy, yes, I did study, but not in school. But I studied on the internet.
Nice, that's cool. So that kind of leads a little bit into the next question that I had for you, which was, how did you start sculpting? Was it digitally or traditional? So I'm assuming it was digital since you were doing architectural designs. Do you ever do traditional sculpting?
Yes, actually, to be honest, I actually started with traditional sculpting.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So remember that day when I went to when I told you I went to Shop Toys and I saw all their cool stuff.
Right.
So after that, I went to go and buy myself the first block of super sculpting. It was so expensive for me back then. It was really expensive. I was like, I think a block was like 50 ringgit. I don't know. That translates to what, about 15 or $20. It was expensive.
Yeah.
Now 50 ringgit, you can buy food for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I got my first block of super sculpey, and I started playing with clay. And all of my earlier works were all in clay and traditional sculpt, which I think is very, very important for any sculptor to do and to try at least once.
Yeah. I agree with that. I enjoy traditional sculpting myself a lot, just to as relaxation. You know, it's fun.
Yeah, I remember us having that chat. You do dabble a little bit in.
Yeah, I play with it a little bit. I started out with Super Sculpey also, and like you said, it's extremely expensive. I went out and bought a bunch of blocks, and then I sculpted something cool, and I put it in the oven, and I cooked it too much. So I was like, ah.
There's somebody in the chat that has a pretty interesting question. He wants to know, I guess it's Gaio. I can't say the last name. Gamber. He wants to know what was the most difficult product you've ever worked on, and also what has been the best and the worst part of working in this industry.
Most difficult product is I think because it's still ongoing. So I think the most difficult product I worked on is Crow King.
Mm-hmm.
So that thing is a beast. That thing is a monster to work on. So Crow King is a product that we came up with. Is part of the Bounties of Bathos universe. So maybe we can the guys can probably look it up on the internet. You can actually see how it looks like. So it's this massive, massive hunk of a mechanical part statue. And I think that was one of the most difficult projects. The reason why is that making it is quite easy. I mean, like sculpting it is fairly challenging, but I think producing it at the factory is extremely difficult. So I think that is one of the most challenging ones because of production. And what was the other question again?
And he wanted to know what was the best and worst part of working in this industry.
So the best part of working in the industry is we get to really dive into the universe that we're working in. I think that for me as an artist, as a sculptor, as a collector, and as a fan, that's what brings us back. This pop culture that we're in, like, you know, the Marvel universe, the DC universe, the Star Wars universe, the Funko Pop universe. It's like this other world that we can dive into and really, really live in when we're working on the pieces that we like. Now, the worst part of the industry is all the how do I say it? Actually, there's no worst part. I would say a little bit more unexpected. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but you see, when I first started HMO and we founded the company, there was this fantasy about, you know, like I said, living in this world, living in this universe that we're working on, the DC universe, the comic industry, the video game world. But what we didn't expect was all the back end story of it, like the customer service, the production, the traveling to the factory, working with the factory people, all the stress of getting the deadlines, working with licenses, all those back end things that people don't see are the stuff that we actually didn't expect it to be so challenging.
I hear you. I have a question for you though. When you're picking a project to do, whether it's Mega Man or whatever, how do you go about picking something that you think will sell or something that's popular, or do you take surveys from what people want? How do you decide which character to produce?
So there's a few formulas that we can go on. I mean, of course, the marketing arm will always do their research on what's trending, doing the research what's still popular, nostalgic. So every time you want to create a collectible statue, what you need to think about is first, do people still talk about it? It's the most important thing. Do people still talk about it? If you do a B-list character that nobody knows or nobody talks about, nobody's gonna buy it, and it won't trend. Number two, is it nostalgic enough? is the crowd that you're speaking to the right age group. For example, if you do a statue or okay, let's just give an example. I'll do a statue of $700 or $800 statue of a Fortnite character. It's a brand new game. All the fans are still very young and all the fans are still new. They wouldn't spend $750 buying a Fortnite video game character because it's just not nostalgic enough. But if you do a character like Mega Man, it will speak to the right crowd. Mega Man, people still talk about it. There's a huge fan base following. The fans are at the right age group, around 25 to 50 years old, where they have the buying power, and it's nostalgic, where it brings back a lot of memory, their childhood memory, and they just want it because, one, they can afford it, two, it's still popular, three, it speaks to their nostalgic side of their fan.
George, does that sound like you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I gotta say, I am a huge fan of the Mega Man statue. That thing is epic, and every time I'm at George's house, it's like just like one of the first pieces that like just catch my attention. But I do have a question myself. Are you a collector? And if so, what do you like to collect?
Yes, I am definitely a collector. I think that's what got me into trouble in the first place.
I think that's what gets all of us into trouble in the first place. And you can ask my wife that if you want.
So I am definitely a collector. So I collect many things actually. Statue is just one of the things that I collect. So I have a whole collection of these things. So I don't know whether you guys can see this.
So what are those tops?
Yeah, they're like very niche type spinning tops, and I'm like, here's the geek side of me. I'm like, this is a ruby tip.
Wow.
You start collecting them after you watched Inception?
And I have that Inception top here.
Oh, it is.
He's got one.
That's cool. That's cool.
pretty cool.
I check every day whether I'm in a dream or not. But not serious, I do collect statues a lot. I used to buy lots of sideshow stuff, and I used to buy lots of pop culture shock PCS stuff like Street Fighter. But of recent, of course, I started collecting more of. I'm not ashamed to say it, but I start collecting more of the stuff that I made my own. The stuff that I sculpted. The reason is because all these pieces that I've sculpted, I feel a huge honor doing them, and I really want them in my house as well. It's almost like a little bit narcissistic, I would say.
It's a trophy.
It's a trophy, exactly. I'd want it.
It's a memorial in the honor of the stuff that you've done.
I mean, if I could do what you do, I would have it too in my house. It'd be everywhere.
Absolutely. You know, it's like history.
I do also collect some anime stuff like, oh my god, it skipped my mind. The one with the big giant.
The one with the big giant. Are you talking about
Attack on Titans?
Yeah, Attack on Titan. That's the one I'm thinking about.
Attack on Titan, that's it. Attack on Titan.
Look at these geeks. Man, look at you guys.
We're all just a gaggle of nerds.
Same, man. My Geek Squad right here. Come through.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So, all right. So you've been a collector for a long time. So you went to Shock Toys and you saw these things and you were like, man, I got to make them. And is that how HMO Collectibles was thought of and came about? Or is there another story behind that?
Oh, no. Actually, HMO Collectibles started right about when XM Studios started, actually. So let me tell you about that story really quickly. About the relationship of my relationship with XM Studios and the Ang brothers, as well as Brian Tan. Name drop. So again, there's another story of me walking on in the mall, which always gets me into trouble as well. So I walked in. At this time, I was already in Singapore doing my Ubisoft job. So I moved from Malaysia to Singapore to work with Ubisoft. So I walked in a mall, and this was a random mall at that time. So I saw this shop that had statues. So naturally, I gravitated towards that shop, and that was Xenomorph. It was before they became XM Studios. They were Xenomorph. So I came in and I said, "Hey guys, it's such an awesome shop. What do you guys do?" "Oh yeah, we do. A lot of people sending their statues to us, and we repaint them for them, and we customize it for them." Say, "Hey, I do some sculpting. You want to see some of my work?" And I say, "Yeah, yeah, show it to us." So and then I showed them my work, and then immediately right there and then they commissioned me on my very first piece. So they commissioned me to do the Captain America, which is not this Captain America. It was the one before that. It was a really cool project, but when I look back at it now, I was like, it's a bit cringy. But that was my first gig. So after that, move on a year after that, we both said like, okay, I think we have a lot of contacts already, and we have a lot of knowledge through the years sculpting. So why don't we start companies? So XM Studios, Xenomorph went ahead and started XM Studios, and me still working with Ubisoft, I founded a statue company because they wanted to do comics and comics basically, and I wanted to do video games. So that's why we split and we started the two companies together.
Very cool. That's cool. That's a good story. HMO Collectibles stands for Handmade Objects. Do you guys make everything by hand? Is that the reasoning, the sculptor? Is that just something that you guys just thought of?
So I think handmade objects, in terms of how we came about with the name, is that I think because everything that you do, everything that you touch, is made by a human hand. No matter how robotic, no matter how automated it is, everything is touched by a human. That's what makes it special. That's what gives it some soul. Right now, in the world of digital sculpting, everybody thinks that everything's a little bit automated, but 3D printing is not as automatic as you think it is, because after you 3D printed it, so this is a 3D print. So after you 3D print it, it still needs a lot of handiwork for you to be able to get it into something like this. Definitely not scripted, by the way. So can you guys see it? Is it clear?
Yeah, we can see it clear.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool Thanos sculpt.
Yeah, so that's where the name came about. Everything is handmade. Even in the production house, in the factory, every single piece of statue is painted manually, painstakingly by an artisan. So that's where the name came from.
That kind of leads into a question from the chat. One person is saying, is that Terrell Reed is asking, do you ever sculpt something just for yourself? No one else has it. You sculpted it because it's something you wanted. And if you did, what was it?
Yes, actually, I do. I did. It's not here at the moment, but I did this. I'm a huge fan of Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I did this Ultraman figure way back when, and nobody has it. I'm the only one that has it. It was never. What's it?
What, it was never put in production, or?
No, it never went into production. Ever, it never went into production. I think only one person has it. That's a good friend of mine. This Ultraman figure it was in this pose. If you search Mufizal Ultraman, you will see it everywhere. It was never produced. I did it just because I love the character, and I did it from start to finish in clay. I sculpted in clay. I molded it in silicone. I used resin, and I did one piece only for me.
Wow.
And it was painted by a good friend of mine. His pen name is Artist Label. I think he paints a lot for Kinetiquettes as well. But he painted it way back when. This was way before HMO, way before XM Studios. But yeah, there was one piece I did, which is Ultraman.
That's awesome. That's really cool. All right, so then talking about original stuff that you guys do, HMO makes the Bounties of Bathos. So the Bounties of Bathos, if you guys don't know about it, is I got the second book, which I find funny, and I want to talk about that too. it's like a space opera. So these guys they have like half cyborg, half human characters in the story, and it's pretty epic. One of the main characters is named Ren, who I found to be very intriguing, and I totally missed out on getting her statue, which I'm bummed about. But the question is that, you know, considering that this was the second book, what happened to the first part of it, or can you tell us more about where this came from, how it started?
Well, I think it's okay. So any good opera starts off in the middle.
Okay.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a good point. I see where you're going with that.
Movies.
Yeah.
All good movies start with black screens.
So yeah, so I think any good space opera always starts in the middle where things are already in what do you call it? In motion, everything's already working. That's where the universe lives and builds in. So what space operas are about, especially epic space operas like Bounties of Bathos, is like we try to build this world that is absolutely epic, huge, and completely out of this world. That's where the fantasy is. But when we tell the story, we tell the story of a specific character at a specific time doing a very specific thing. That's where it becomes more relatable to the reader. That's where it becomes more relatable to the people who understands the universe. Like for example, I want to take Star Wars as an example again. So there's this huge thing going on. The Empire is trying to strike back, and then a lot of things are happening on the background, but the actual story is just a small part of it. And that's where the interesting thing comes in, because you start to feel like you're living in this universe and like you're living in this world. That's where I think we are positioning Bounties of Bathos.
So is this an original story that you guys actually wrote and developed yourselves, or was this by some author and you're just making the statues off of that story?
It is absolutely an original story that is developed by us.
Nice.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. So think about Bounties of Bathos like more of a long-term thing. We're not really pushing this a lot at the moment. It's something that we're developing on the background. It's something that we're having fun doing. We've created this universe, and inside this universe, there are multiple things we can do. I think that's the fun part about world building, world creating.
So every time a new book comes out, does a new statue come out along with it, or is that two different things?
When you're developing any sort of art, you need very, very strong references. So what we do every time we want to create a new character in the Bounties of Bathos universe, a new statue, we build an entire backstory of the character based on the universe that they are in. So for example, Ren looks like that because of all the stories that's related to her, and Sorrow as well, and Croaking as well. So that's how we do it. It's actually the other way around. We write the story first, and then we come up with the statue.
Awesome.
Okay,
George, what were
cool.
you showing just now?
Yeah, I was trying to show it while he was talking about it, so you can see. Was like, I'm trying to get past everything, but here's some of the artwork from the book, so you guys can get an idea of some of the concept designs that they have.
So is that Ren? Is that Ren in the?
No, the one on the left or your right. I don't know what the one in blue color. That's
Yeah.
Sorrow, and then the other one is Necrosis, I think, right?
And the one on the right is actually
Croaking. Croaking,
Yeah.
right. Then you have
Ren is on the page before that.
right. This was Ren. So Ren is and then Necrosis is the other one, right?
Yes, Necrosis. Necrosis is not there. Necrosis is, I don't think it's in concept art yet.
Oh, it's not okay.
So
Yeah.
which statues are actually out yet? Any of them?
Yes, so Ren is out. Ren is our first one. The next statue that's going to come out is Croaking. It's a huge statue. That one is going to come out. We're supposed to hit the mark on actually on the 1st of September, but I wasn't happy with the quality yet. So we're pushing it back a little bit, but it should be coming out in the next couple of weeks.
And is that going to be in a quarter? Is that going to be like a quarter scale or?
Yes, it's going to be quarter scale statue, but it's absolutely complex. Think of it like um, Optimus Prime X2.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So here's actually in the book. I'm trying to get around the other screen. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's Necrosis on the very top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can see how that he looks there. And then, I mean, just to show you some other things, like look at this guy. This guy's name is Rusty Turnaround. But I mean, look at the look though. It's got kind of like a Western look to it, which I love about that.
That's cool. That is cool.
Let me clarify that a little bit. So his name is Rusty, and it's a turnaround art.
Oh, turnaround. Oh, my bad. I'm looking at that now. The others do say turnaround.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you, sir, for clarifying.
My fault. All right, but look, here's some of the concept art of the scenes. You know, so you guys get an idea. So that's why I'm like, this needs to be some kind of anime or a comic book.
Video game.
Spielberg needs to get his hands on that shit.
I'm saying, man, this looks cool. This looks really, really cool. And, you know, so that's what drew me to it when I saw the statues. You know, I was like, holy crap, you know, how can I get my hands on these things, and why haven't I not known about this yet?
I mean, we're way overdue for something along the lines of that, you know, because clearly, you know, Star Wars is kind of starting to get a little old, in my opinion. So no, I'm just saying.
Hey.
Shots fired.
Yeah, don't say that, bro.
So something new and something original like this would definitely be fresh. And with the with the art and the way everything looks, I think it could be. Yeah, I'm actually gonna borrow the books from you now because I want to read it.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it so you can check it out. It's good. It's cool.
But
story.
I mean, but just something that has. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Have you guys heard of this movie that's coming out, Kin?
No.
Yeah, it looks. I seen the trailer for it. It's weird. It kind of looks like a mix between like Tron and trying to think of what else, but it's very it kind of has a Tron feel to it.
I was looking forward to it because you were just talking about a fresh new sci-fi. Just a little bit of a stray away, but I think it's quite interesting, and I completely agree with you. It's like fresh universes is definitely needed, but it's a huge challenge to build these universes so that that's why I'm giving Kim as an example, is because they were trying to create a completely new universe. That's why you feel like it's kind of familiar, but then again, it feels a little bit because there's no background story. You haven't watched the movie yet. They'll draw you with some sci-fi, but until we watch the movie, we don't know actually what the contents are. It's kind of like the same thing for creating the Bounties of Bathos. I want you to judge the book by its cover.
Yeah, got it.
So I think when you guys are talking about it needs to be something, I completely agree. But that's the full reason why we're creating it, is because we want it to be something. What it is, we will figure it out, because it can be a board game, it can be a video game, it can be a T-shirt, it can be a comic book, it can be a statue, it can be many things. But most important is to continue to develop this world so that we can make stuff out of it.
So how often do you release? How often does a book get released then?
Well, we try to release a new chapter or a new book every time we release a new statue. Like I said, we develop the story before we release the statue. So again, we're not actively pushing the Bounties of Bathos universe at the moment. So I would say every year we should come up with something new for the.
I kind of like that concept, because it's not like you're coming out with a new story every month. You're actually giving people time to read and develop some kind of emotional connection with these characters, and it gives people something to be excited about for the anticipation of the next book to drop.
Yeah, definitely. So we build it up, because I think if we overload the collectors and fans with many things, they get bored. It's almost like Facebook posting. You post one artwork every month, people will go crazy and get hundreds of likes. But if you post an artwork every day, people will just start to scroll through. and it's not exciting for them anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about it. I got Black Sorrow on order, so I can't wait to see that one in person. That's gonna be cool. All right, so moving on back to the video games, you have Morrigan that's due to come out here pretty soon. She is beautiful. I really love the art behind that altogether, especially the base. You know, that's one of the most artistic looking bases.
Which base are you talking about?
The base on Morrigan. So it's got like this rock based. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I saw what you did there. Yeah. Okay. I don't have an answer for that, bro. You know my wife is watching, right? So the actual base of the statue, if you've seen it, it has like a stone facade, and then when you turn it, it actually forms into like a skull head that you could see on looking dead on it, which I thought was fantastic. How did you come up with that?
It was an adaptation. So Morrigan was based on artwork that Capcom passed to us. So we had to follow this artwork to create the statue because Capcom is absolutely strict about their IP, which I love actually. I respect it, completely respect it. So they gave us this artwork and then said, if you guys want to do a Morrigan statue, you do this. And I said, okay, fine, we'll take up the challenge and we'll do it. So that being said, we could not change the pose. And the pose was very challenging for us because the pose, if you've seen the Morrigan statue, she kind of looks like this. So her leg is like a little pin. And I couldn't figure out a way to create a base that would support that. So I thought, okay, that means I need to create rocks, random looking rocks, to be able to support the leg. You know, when I looked at it, it's like, rather than creating a random rock, why don't we just create an optical illusion where when you see it in an angle, you will see it form a shape or an object. Do you guys remember the movie Labyrinth?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So there was this one scene where I think the girl was walking towards a bunch of woods and rock, I don't know. But there was one scene where that happened. So I was really inspired by that. There was a face, and then as the camera moved, it kind of changed into just random rocks. That was the one that inspired me.
What movie was
cool.
it? I'm sorry.
The Labyrinth movie. You've never seen
Oh,
Labyrinth?
I love that movie. Are you kidding me?
Anything
Dead boy.
anything with
David
Jim
Bowie.
Henson is an instant hit.
Oh, dude, it's cool. I think I love Mufizal even more for saying that he got inspiration from that movie. I watched that so many times as a kid.
Yes, it's a
Please
fantastic.
leave a little contribution in the little box.
So, you know, how's Morrigan coming along? Is she going to be out soon? Can we expect her soon?
So Morrigan, so do you remember how we did the eyes for Morrigan?
Right.
So they're very special in a way where I think it's the very first one in the industry for 1/4 scale statue to have what the collectors are calling glass eye, but actually it's not made out of glass, but it's using the same method and mentality where the eyes are actually anatomically correct.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, it feels alive and it feels realistic. So that was a huge challenge for us to get that into production. So that's why it was taking so long. Morrigan itself is pretty straightforward to do. The skin, but the eyes was a big challenge for us to do. And we finally figured out how to do it properly a couple of months back. But it still poses a huge challenge. So what we're doing is that we're shipping them out by batches. So a huge batch is already done, and I think a few pieces is already out on the way to collectors, and they should get it in their hands in the next couple of days, I think, and you'll start seeing some pictures online in the next couple of days. But we're shipping them out by batches.
We got
Nice.
a question from Lewis in the chat. He wants to know what is your most anticipated piece as a collector that's not from your own company?
Ooh, that's a hard one to say. But
all my pieces from my company are anticipated.
Yeah. So a given fact that what do you call it? All the pieces that I'm working on currently are highly anticipated. especially the upcoming Warhammer stuff and the SNK stuff. I'm really looking forward to that one. But as a collector, one of the most amazing piece I've seen in the last couple of months has to be the Daniel Bell Thor.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely in love. As an artist, I'm so inspired by what he did. And I fully respect him as an artist and as a sculptor. And what he did with Thor, I think is absolutely mind blowing. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my god. So not many people know this, but I got it in order, and I can't wait. Somebody knows now. But I was really excited with that one. I think that kind of so again, I'm looking at it from an artist's point of view, and from a sculptor's point of view, those kind of pieces only comes in once in a while.
Wow.
The last piece that gave me shivers like that was the Martin Canal and the Gore Brothers' Venom.
Wow. Yeah, from an artist's point of view, I would, if I were an artist, that would be the highest compliment.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now I gotta order that Thor. I've been on the fence of that, but now I gotta order.
You're on the fence, but Mufizal just put it over
Thor. I'm
Thor.
gonna do that tonight.
He's like, if he says Thor's good, his money's good. Yeah. I want Thor. Let's get it.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta do a live PO right now, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm putting it in as we speak.
So you mentioned the Warhammer 4K. I've been looking forward to that. I used to like looking at the figures when I would go into the comic book store as a kid. How's that project coming along? What's the word on that? Are we going to see maybe some of that at Singapore this year?
Well, yes, we are going to reveal the first of many 1/6 scale collectible statue from the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So a little bit about this project. So we've approached Games Workshop a couple of times to get this license because I'm a huge fan of the fantasy, like space opera. I'm a huge fan of the universe, the Warhammer universe. It's huge. It's got 40,000 years old. It's got a 40 years old history of the company. It's a great company. I'm not saying this because I have to, but I'm saying it because it's true. Games Workshop is one of the best licenses out there to work with. They're an amazing. They give amazing support. They almost handhold us throughout the fantasy, and they give us a lot of references. I have a video call with them every fortnight to go through the project to make sure everything is on track. So they're fantastic. So just to give you an example, do you guys know the Space Marines, right?
Right.
It's common knowledge, Space Marines. Not many people know how they look like without their armor, because when you want to sculpt and when you want to create these things, those armors needs to come off, and you need to sculpt the foundation of it. So what Game Workshop did for us was that they actually went out and drew some concepts of how these Space Marines look without their armor, so that we can work with it. So that's the kind of support they gave us. On top of that, we actually work with Warhammer fans when it comes to producing the statues, when it comes to sculpting it, how everything looks like. Every single bolt and nut is we try and get it as accurate as possible. And then when it comes to the paint design, we actually use Warhammer painters to design the paints for us, because there's a very specific way of all these miniatures are painted. So we use Warhammer painters to design the paints for us. So I'm really excited to show our first diorama at the Singapore Toys and Comic Convention coming up next weekend.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
That's amazing.
Like I said, I've been a fan of that for a long time. I played several of their video games. I can't remember all of the names at the moment. But yeah, especially the Space Marines. They've always been intriguing to me. They're all big and clunky and everything. It's really cool.
So remember when we said about how I choose my projects? So it's definitely the right category where it's nostalgic. People are still talking about it. It has the right age group of people, and we're really hoping that the collectors and not only will it speak to the statue collectors, but I hope it will also speak to the actual Warhammer fans that has been in the universe since the beginning. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice. Is there anything else that we can expect to see at Singapore this year, or is it mostly going to be Warhammer?
So you can expect. So there's another thing about us. We don't pump out a lot of statues because we really spend. Well, let me rephrase that. We don't pump out a lot of statues. We spend a lot of time concepting, developing, making sure that things look as amazing as we can get it to look. Make sure the innovation, the breakthrough is there before we launch a statue. So we only have 3 statues to show this year at Singapore Comic Con, which is mine from SNK and King of Fighters. Then there's Iori, also from SNK and King of Fighters. And then there's Gulliman versus the Chaos Space Marine diorama from the 40K universe. So yeah, you can expect to see those 3 statues. Just to carry on what I said, we spend a lot of time on our statues is because what we do as a company and our philosophy is that every statue that we come up with needs a breakthrough. Without a breakthrough, we will not release, we will not continue on with the project. So if you look at Mega Man, George, if you look at Mega Man that's on your table, everybody would have just done the Mega Man. It's a simple character. It's basically a simple character. But what we did was we figured out a way to come up with a breakthrough where you can actually open up the armor and see what's inside Mega Man X. So that's the kind of breakthrough, that's the kind of thought process that we come up with for every single one of our statues. For Morrigan, it was the eyes and the base. For Mega Man X, it's the armor coming out. So, and we have something special in store for Mai and Iori as well.
No, that's cool that it's more about quality than quantity, so you can make sure that everything looks, spectacular like it does. I love that. Like I said before, I love that Mega Man statue. That thing is just epic.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I have to second that. Like I said, this year so far, it's one of the only 10 out of 10 statues that I've seen all year long. So for me, this is one of the baddest looking pieces of all. It's great,
and it's cool. And it's cool that it lights up because I love when stuff lights up.
I do like the light up stuff too.
It just adds another element. It just adds another element to the statue. That's all.
Yep, it's cool. All right. So, other than your work with HMO, you've also been working with Royal Selangor also, and they do mostly pewter pieces. So, can you explain? Is there any difference in your sculpting process when it comes to those smaller pewter figures versus these larger statues that you mostly do?
Yeah, definitely. So, Selangor Pewter is a company back home, so it's more of a home pride thing. So Selangor Pewter has been doing pewter pieces for a very, very long time. I think 4 generations. I don't know how long it's 4 generations, but 4 generations. So they've always been doing pewter pieces like, before that, pewter is an alloy. Not many people know what pewter actually is. So pewter is an alloy, which is a mix of tin and silver. So very pliable, tough material to work with. It's very interesting, very beautiful material. So it's semi-precious metal, for example, what it is. So they've been doing lots of like pots and pans, little paperweights, lots of feng shui statues, very popular statues. And then Alan Kwa, which is one of the comic artists back home in Malaysia, approached me because he knows that I'm doing lots of collectibles, and they said, "Hey, Selangor Pewter wants to sign a deal with DC and Marvel, and they want to come up with some collectible statues." And I was like, "Yep, I'm in. I'll do it. No problem." One is because I love the universe, Marvel and DC. Number 2 is because it's a little bit of a home pride. Selangor, there is a Royal Selangor. It's a very well-known pewter around the world. They have shops all around the world. If you go, I think they have a few shops in the States as well. So that's how I got into it. That's more of an artistic side point of view. I kind of brought the whole 3D printing, digital sculpting pipeline onto Royal Selangor. I introduced them to them, and then so that's how I got into it actually. And to answer your question, George, yes, the sculpting process is a little bit different. So I actually have a piece here. Again, this is completely not scripted at all.
Oh, I love that piece.
Yeah.
I have Batman with me, so
I love anything chrome and metal. So I would be honored if you could send that my way.
sure, I'm sure Stranger Peter would be honored if you have it with you as well.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So I'll put it down because it's quite heavy. So that piece, the way we think about it is because, like you were saying, it's not colored; it's just silver, right? So, but we still need to use the theory of the color of the costume. So Batman is kind of black, and he's got highlights here and there. His logo is yellow in some cases.
Black and yellow.
Yeah. So and then some of them are light blue and black. So there are some contrasts that we play with. So what I have to do is I have to think about different textures and different grit of textures. For example, if I want it to be white or light color, I don't put any textures on that, and they will polish it to a very high shine, and that will make it look light. And then if it has very strong, deep texture, then it will become dark and black. So that's the way you have to think about when you're actually sculpting these pieces. A little bit different. So you paint by textures, basically.
That's awesome. We got to, I actually have the Spider-Man one, and we got to see Thanos in San Diego, man. It was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I think the Thanos, the glove is, 18 karat gold?
Yeah.
From and that was amazing.
Any character that you want to get to do for Royal Selangor that you haven't done yet?
I'm not supposed to say anything, but I think
you kind of twisted my arm a little bit, but okay.
So I've they are continuing with their Marvel line, and I think the ones that are coming up, I think it's one of the most highly sought after Marvel series in any statue. If you think of a company that's doing Marvel, they have to do this line. So think of it that way. That's as much as I can say at the moment. But yes, I'm really excited for this the stuff that I'm working on right now.
If I had to take a guess, could you just give me like a wink or like some kind of like innuendo or some kind of nod or something? So I'm going to go ahead and say possibly Venom.
He's already done Venom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Venom.
Shows you what I know. I'm just going to go back and mute my mic now. And just
Venom, Thor, Thanos, and Spider-Man are out already.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we get a Captain America maybe?
Out, done already.
Damn. I'm like way behind on the 8 ball, man.
Done already. Yeah, this matches are going to break me because I want to get all 3 of those.
Yeah.
So I can actually say that they are coming out with the limited edition Captain America. So announced at home in Malaysia. But you see, they have 2 versions. One is the smaller one. So the Venom and the Spider-Man, the Venom and the Captain America was the 2 smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
The Thanos you saw and the big Spider-Man you saw, they are the limited edition ones. The Batman is also the limited edition one. So they're coming up with the limited edition Captain America, and that one is really awesome. That is designed by Hive Studios, so you should
sold.
Really...
Awesome.
Sold. Don't care how much it is. Eric, you with me, buddy?
Yeah.
It's gonna be at least 900. And when we were at San Diego, there was this life-size Iron Man. Did you have anything to do with that?
No, actually, that one was done separately. I think it was with Beast King.
Okay.
Beast Kingdom.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
But yeah, that was a fantastic piece. I saw it in person back in KL when they had the launch, the super fancy, glamorous launch. But yeah, it was imposing.
Vegeta's putting his money on X-Men, but.
No comment on that.
There we go. I think we got ourselves a winner. Ding, ding.
If it's X-Men, I gotta buy it. I'm gonna go broke here. So you also did work for Ubisoft. So can you talk about that? What games did you work on? Or
Oh yeah, so Ubisoft was okay. So I ended my work with them just last Friday. That was my last day with Ubisoft. I'm now 100% on HMO and working on the stuff that are working from home actually. Our studio is our house, so HMO studio is another studio, but I mostly work from home. So I've ended my work with Ubisoft after 10 years working with them. So I was the senior art director at Ubisoft Singapore. So I worked on games like Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I also was the art director for Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Black Flag. I was also the art director for the up and coming one, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Did you do any work on the Division, or you just mainly stuck to the Assassin's Creed ones?
So I was mostly on the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Okay.
But when I first came in, I also worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time Reshell.
Whoa!
nice.
So yeah, that's a mouthful. But it's TMNT Turtles in Time Reshell. So we rehashed the Turtles in Time. It was a really nice beat 'em up game that we did as a pet project. But most of the other games I worked on was mostly Assassin's Creed franchise.
All right,
So Assassin's Creed games were awesome.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is probably, for me anyway, the best for Assassin's Creed. I mean, I liked Assassin's Creed 2. I thought that was great too. But I'm a big fan of pirates. So, when you guys came out with that, I was like, bananas on that. So what did you have in to do with that one? What did you design, or what part did you have in that?
My role as an art director is to come up with I sell dreams basically. As an art director, our job is to sell dreams to the production, to the guys on the floor. So I come up with the vision of how things should look like. I come up with the vision of how to keep the art consistent. So in Singapore, because what Ubisoft does is they do distributed development. So many studios work on these huge projects. So Montreal was the lead studio for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and in Singapore we were responsible for developing the look, the tech, and the gameplay for the naval warfare. So I was responsible in coming up with art directing how the ships look like, how the ocean looks like, and making sure all the gameplay in the ocean was good. I wasn't in charge of the gameplay, but more of the design of the levels and the design of the weapons and stuff like that.
Well, I gotta say that's probably my favorite part of the game. And my next question is, I would assume you helped out with Skulls and Bones.
Correct. So yes, I was also the art director for Skulls and Bones, and we established early on the look of the ships and the look of, because we worked on Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Skulls and Bones was heavily inspired by that naval part of the gameplay, and I think the guys are doing a great job right now. I think they're going to be. They showed some stuff in PAX, not PAX, game. Oh my God, it's slipped my mind. But there was a Gamescom. That's it. The Geek Squad always.
One of these days, I'm going to get to those gaming conventions.
Geek Squad.
I mean, you might not know, and it's not related to anything that you worked on. Any word on Splinter Cell? I thought they were going to show it at E3 this year.
Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite franchises too.
I think there are lots of franchises that are being worked on in Ubisoft right now. You can tell that I'm trained to answer these questions.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I don't expect you to say, yeah, it's coming out of this. But like at the end of that conference, I'm like, no Sam Fisher. What's going on?
We ask the hard hitting questions here at MCE.
Oh my God.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ubisoft has amazing franchises. Assassin's Creed's amazing franchise, Splinter Cells, Rainbow Six. All these franchises are very. I think that's why they did it, man. I think that's why they didn't show anything. Is because they want that anticipation. Remember we talked about anticipation?
Mm-hmm.
When it actually comes out, boom, when it's ready, it'll be out.
Cool.
I can tell you that much.
Awesome.
Nice. So, of all of these positions that you had, is there any that you enjoyed more than the other? Or obviously you're with HMO now, so I'm assuming that's the one.
I think all these different positions that I've had, they all different genres of things. They come up with different products, but at the very core of it, I think they're all the same thing. They're all about creating something. They're all about coming up with something different, something creative, using your God-given brain to come up with something original. So I think that's what I like, and that is what binds everything together. Everything is kind of related. When you want to create a statue, you got to think about what's the breakthrough. When you come up with a vision for art direction, there's also a thing you got to think about. How is this unique? Why is it different? How will people remember this? So I think that's the part that I enjoy the most. The part that I don't like the most is the emails and the P&L, the profit and loss, the margins, all that.
You don't want to worry about that stuff. You just want to worry about designing, being creative. You don't want to worry about the back end stuff. You just want to focus on the stuff that you like to do. I get that, and I'm all about that. I agree with you 100%.
I agree with him 100%. Too.
Absolutely.
100%.
Creating is 10% of the work. 90% is emails and
Who cares about emails, man?
For some reason, I know exactly what you're talking about.
but for that 10%, right? For that 10% of time is what you strive for. 90% of it's like you do all this 90% at the background just so that you can do it at 10%. And when you're doing it, you put on your headphones, your favorite music on, and you just go and just do it. It's amazing.
That is a great way to lead into this next question. There's a lot of aspiring young people out there, or maybe not so young, that want to do what you do. Is there any piece of advice that you would give those individuals that aspire to do what you do?
So this is the old man sculptor speaking. Hi, my name is. So the most important thing you can do as an artist, actually as any sort of creative, is to get your fundamentals down. Know your fundamentals like the back of your hand. So for example, when I talk about art fundamental is color theory, proportions, making sure that your line work is down, making sure that you understand composition theory, world building. All this is absolutely critical. Because once you've got all your foundations down, you can just focus on creative and you can just focus on getting what's in here to on paper. Because that's where a lot of people are stuck, because everybody has great ideas. I mean, the guy that's selling coffee on the food court has a fantastic idea of something, but not everybody can execute it, right? So from idea to execution is the challenge. And the key to bridge that is the fundamental. You got a strong vision here, to translate it onto paper, you need a basic understanding of fundamentals for you to be able to translate it quickly and efficiently. That's the best advice I can give you guys.
Thank you.
Man, it's been awesome having you on the show. So I'm myself, I'm out of questions, but I have some people in the chat that do have some. So let me bring that up here real quick before we get you. I know you got a busy day ahead of you. So Guile wants to know, do you get ideas for something innovative from reading, observing the world, weed, or anything else?
We're not supposed to talk about weed here in Singapore.
I laughed when I saw the question, so I figured
we won't
ask
talk about
that.
but yes, I think inspiration comes from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
From in the morning you wake up, the coffee you drink, the things that you see outside, you can get inspired by anything and everything. And I think as an artist, you need to keep an open mind. So I think that's why you see lots of artists have this kind of blank face on their, because they are really they're trying to inspire, and like every time you talk, when I see Kelvin's background, it's like, wow, you got so much posters and you got so much stuff. You get inspired as well. I think that's why people put posters on their wall. That's why people drink coffee in a coffee house rather than drink coffee at home. Or even some people prefer to drink at home. Like on a rainy day, you get inspired. So I think, yes, I definitely get inspired by everything that I do. But when I want to work on a piece, for example, Spider-Man, first of all, like I always almost in tears every time somebody gives me a job. Say, hey, Mufizal, can you sculpt Spider-Man for us? Some people really want me to sculpt Spider-Man. It's a huge honor. Thank you very much. And I take that honor and I do my research through and through. So I will ask them like, okay, which Spider-Man you want to do? I want to do the McFarlane Spider-Man. Then I will go and bring up my Spider-Man comics from McFarlane. I will read them first to understand what he's about, what the suit is about. Is there a background story for the suit, style that he goes for? And then after that, I'll do all my research about Spider-Man poses. I will also get my wife to take me in very awkward positions to try and get references for the poses. So yes.
You know, it's funny. I used to do something similar like that for college.
Wow. Ooh, wow.
When I was in art school, I used to have to do the same thing. I had to take pictures of myself in these weird positions in order to be able to draw what I wanted to draw.
Wow.
That's cool.
I also have a mirror in front of me to do all the expressions that I need to do. So references is king. Yes, and I get inspired by those kind of references I do. So a lot of times you will see me reading comics, playing games, not because I enjoy them, but it's also for research and inspiration.
That's what I tell my wife every time I put a video game on. It's for research.
What does that help? What does that help me get in this position?
Oh my god! All right, MC After Hours has started. But anyway, have you been to the States, and where have your favorite places been in the States as you visited?
To be honest, I absolutely love the States. I've been there once for E3. This was for Black Flag.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the whole LA Vegas thing. So what we did was we rented a Dodge Challenger, I think.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Excellent choice.
Excellent choice.
And we drove from LA to Vegas. And I absolutely loved it. I love to drive. I love LA. I didn't see any car chases though.
You know what's funny is that when I went to San Diego Comic-Con, one of the days I drove up to Disneyland, right? So then on the way back from Disneyland, there's a string of police cars and helicopters going in the opposite direction of me, right? So I'm like, oh my God. I was like, that's pretty nuts. I've never seen that before. So I get back to the hotel, and then there's a car chase going on the highway, and I was like, holy shit, it's actually a car chase going on.
He goes, I didn't see a car chase, so I'm assuming that's the image of LA. You get there, that's one of the sights. That's one of the sightseeing things. Car chase.
Car chases. I was hoping to see Hollywood stars drinking coffee on Starbucks, but none of them happened. But I did see the real LA, and I think it was way better than what people over here think LA is. I mean, it's so diverse.
Mm-hmm.
One street is like super posh. The next street is like there are lots of very gritty kind of look coming from it, almost sci-fi kind of futuristic dystopian type of kind of look. And the next street over is like everything is like food paradise, and I love it.
Yeah.
So I think, and I think I ended up in the wrong side of town. Because there was one section in LA where they were selling all the bongs and all the stuff.
I don't think that wasn't the wrong side. That was just LA.
But when I went to Vegas, what I noticed was Vegas was a two-faced town, in a good way. So in the morning, It was very, very, lack of a better word, peaceful and quiet. But when it became nighttime, it was
The freaks come out at night.
different countries, like literally day.
Been to Vegas. I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly what you're talking about.
So
It's almost like so silent until you kind of get depressed. But at night, everything's just kind of like.
yeah, it's very outlandish. It's very out there. It's very out there, and you definitely do have your fair share of seeing all different types of characters and all different types of people from all different walks of life, and it's it's very interesting.
Yeah, I did want to go to Area 51, but couldn't go. I wanted to go to the Nevada desert because it was quite close by, right? But we didn't make it, so. So my next trip, I'm definitely going to go to Sturgis. I'm going to rent a bike and I'm going to ride a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm planning that next trip. I don't know yet when yet, but definitely soon.
Awesome.
So Vegeta in the chat has a really great question. He wants to know, what piece do you think is your greatest?
My greatest piece. So far?
Well, to date, sure.
So far. So I think my most favorite piece that I've done so far has to be Morrigan. I think it's because of one is it was very challenging to do. Number two is I wanted to figure out how to create a simple character, make it completely unique. And three is because it's such a simple piece, but so complex and so challenging to do. And I think I'm really proud of that piece. Morrigan is definitely one of my best pieces so far.
Cool.
Is there going to be more Darkstalkers after Morrigan?
Yes, definitely. I think the Darkstalkers fans have shown enough interest and is loud enough to make it look like it's a viable. Because at the end of the day, HMO is a business, and in our business, we want to keep creating. That's the whole point of creating this business, is to keep creating and keep making new stuff. So for us to be able to keep making, we need to be able to have enough fan support to keep the projects going. And Darkstalkers have enough fan base, just like Mega Man, and what's the other one? Capcom fans in general is enough for us to keep going with the Darkstalkers series.
Cool. One more question I just thought about when you were coming. I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. You guys came out with a line called HX Project. It was a set of Avengers characters, all 1/6 scale, and it was a combination of HMO and XM Studios working on that project. Is there any plans to bring more of that back, or is that going to be the end of it for now?
So I think HX Project was always stated to have 9 characters only, and I think we've delivered all 9 characters, and we've stopped the line. So they were always supposed to end. It was never supposed to go on. It was an interesting collaboration project. It was very, very early on during the inception of HMO and XM Studios, and we came up with a collaboration project called HX Project. So it's very challenging. It was done in the style of the Avengers Assemble cartoon style. There's a huge fan following for the cartoon, but I think it did not speak all that well to the common 1/4 scale statue collectors. But it did very well with the 1/6 scale statue collectors, as well as the people who collect stuff like the Star Wars animated series. Yeah, that was it actually. So we don't. So those nine statues and the people that have it are the ones that is going to be there forever.
That's kind of sad also, but I actually, looking at them now, I feel like they're probably some of the best Avengers characters created. I mean, like, I just recently saw the Sideshow Black Widow, and then I went back and looked at the HX Black Widow, and I love that one. You know, and it's to the point anymore right now where I feel like I'm gonna just have a 1/6 scale line of Avengers, simply because I like that look of them. It has a comic cartoon look, like what you were saying. So
very hard to find now, actually.
Yes,
Like it's quite difficult to find. But yeah, those are the kind of things that we did. That's also like the breakthrough in the innovations. Like we never saw any sort of like cartoon mixed type character done in a 1/6 scale for the Avengers line. So yeah, we did that.
Cool. All right, guys. Any more questions from the chats?
I am just really grateful that you decided to join us tonight.
Me too.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
Definitely an honor to be in the presence of greatness. I mean, I definitely love your work. And no, I mean that sincerely, and I mean the work you do is phenomenal, and I hope you guys keep putting out excellent pieces.
Thank you very much, guys. I think I'm coming into the chat also didn't know what to expect, but I really had fun. We had lots of laughs, and I think you guys are a great bunch of guys, and I think you guys just have this chemistry working on together. So everybody knows what everybody needs to speak about. It's great fun. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Thank you for that.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right.
Well,
all right, Mufizal. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes.
Did it stop raining? Did
It stopped raining from the looks of it. Yeah.
The birds are out. The sun's not out yet, but coming out soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the day as well.
All right.
take care, sir.
Okay. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you again.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That was a lot of fun.
freaking awesome.
Truly, thank you so much.
No problem. All right, so guys, I know that Eric has a short night with us tonight, so we're gonna take and we're gonna close it out early today. Because my wife's been bugging me about spending 2 hours and doing the MCE evenings every week.
What? Come on.
Yeah, man. She gave me this look the other day, and she was like, "Honey, I love you.
Killing me.
Need a break." So I was like, "All right, you know, it's Labor Day weekend, so if it's Labor Day weekend, I wanted to make this show really solely about Mufizal. I know I have a couple of little other icons over there for things that are coming up, so I just want to go over them real fast. We got Spider-Man, the video game comes out this week. It comes out when? Friday?
Yes.
Friday.
So how many of you got? Everybody getting it?
Yep, it's already pre-ordered.
With the statue, by the way. But yeah.
You got it with the statue, you lucky bastard.
But what sucks is that I'm not going to be able to play it till when I get back because I'm going to Disney this weekend. So that kind of just,
That still don't sound bad, Seth.
By the way, Calvin, did this show, because they had something like covered, was it the statue stuff that they were covering in the promo picture, or was it the base of the statue? Because it said coming soon, like they weren't really showing the complete statue.
You talking about on the website?
Yeah.
That has been there since it sold out. It sold out within the first couple of days, and that's been the status ever since. That is the one that comes with the actual statue, but it's not going to come back to the website.
No, but as far as like what it looks like, the final statue design, because it doesn't, like if you go to bestbuy.com and you look at it, it says like coming.
Oh, it doesn't show the statue? Yeah, it used to show the actual
statue.
statue.
The top of him, but like I guess the bottom portion is covered because I don't know if it's related to the.
Nah, it used to show the entire statue. Yeah, because I've seen the actual statue of him in the crouching position, and it's done by Gentle Giants.
So it should be cool. I'm not gonna be able to get the statue, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to live vicariously through you, Calvin. So I'm gonna just have to play the video game.
Right?
Is that going to be your latest episode of Collecting on a Budget?
Yes, it will. Right
Nice.
up on MCE. Yes.
Sweet.
Nice, and I'm gonna be having Challenge Accepted coming back. I got the PlayStation moved into the office, so now I'm gonna be able to play my video games here amongst my statues. So I'm like digging that. So that's gonna be cool. Other than that, we had a couple of things pop up today from XM Studios that is gonna be dropping hopefully for Singapore Comic Con. We had a look at let me put this up real quick. The Aquaman statue.
I am Aquaman.
Yeah, this is a 1/6 scale statue. So I'll give you guys a taste of that. Also had this Wonder Woman that came about. And this is also a 1/6 scale.
Did it come with a different head sculpt?
I intend to get that entire line.
Very beautiful.
That booty dough.
All about that face, right there.
Maybe she can give me a rusty turnaround.
Oh my God. You guys. Seth.
I know, man.
Dude, I was trying so hard. To keep it together when you guys said that.
We had this Deathstroke. This is part of the Batman Samurai line that they came out with. This is a 1/4
That's not
scale.
1/6 though. This
is 1/4.
Yeah.
So I thought this looks pretty cool. Probably one of the best looking ones that I've seen since the Batman, in my opinion.
So we should probably see all of that at New York.
Yeah, that could possibly all be at New York, yes. And then this past week, we got a first look at the Colossus that they're going to be having.
Wow.
So that looks pretty cool, too.
That is dope.
All right. So that is what came out.
Well, going back to that Aquaman, did that look like it came with like a different head sculpt?
Yes, there's 2 head sculpts. They're going to have one with the bearded look and then one with the classic look.
I like the bearded look better.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too. But I like that he's riding the seahorse, and I thought that was kind of a unique concept that they have. So I thought that was pretty.
That's what I like about the 1/6 scale, because they can really create an entire diorama and not go any bigger than the 4th scale really would be. You could have more stuff that you could do with it, I think.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more majestic if he was riding on a dolphin. That's all I'm saying.
That's a Lobo thing.
I don't know. I like
awesome.
dolphins.
So that was it as far as well, there's other stuff that came out for statues as well. If you guys want to dabble in a little bit, I got a little bit here for Captain Puerto Rico because I didn't want to leave him out.
What?
Didn't want to leave you out, bro. Didn't want to leave you out. So hold on, before we get to that one, let me show you. I got this one for you that I thought you were probably into. We got the
Wow, that black screen is something else.
Shut up. I'm trying to find it. Where'd it go?
We got something for you, Eric. Nothing.
That's not it either. Where the hell did it go?
It's still the same black screen.
I know, man. I know. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second. Here it goes. Here it goes. Boom.
Ooh, John Wick.
John Wick.
I saw that.
Killed my dog.
Yeah. I thought this thing
Oh
looked
wow,
awesome.
that's
man.
an accessories that come with it.
Yeah.
All right.
It has the gun hand holster or whatever you call that. Case.
Hey, the realism of those things are creepy, man.
I mean, like you got to remember how much real estate they have to make these head sculpts.
This is creepy.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not into Hot Toys, but I would definitely buy that.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I could put it next to my John Wick chase that no one voted for me on Friday night.
Oh, no.
And then for you pop figure guys, this one here is for Seth. I got this one for Seth.
We got pops.
Because
Married with Children.
Married with Children stuff that came out.
Oh my god!
I
Hold
can't
on a
believe that
second.
they're actually making something for this TV show. That's pretty nuts.
Hold on a second. Is that an @only Target sticker I see?
Let me see. Go.
I
You're
can't
never
zoom in.
gonna get it.
Jesus.
So I thought that was kind of cool, and I wanted to chat with you. I mean, is there anything Funko won't make?
You know what? There is stuff that they won't make because they can't get the licensing for it.
Obviously not.
There are some people that will not give them the license.
Interesting.
As people ask them all the time, are they going to make certain things? And they're like, well, we're trying to acquire the license, but they're not having much luck. So,
All right, and then also this week we're gonna have the Darth Vader premium format. The new one's gonna be coming out. So for those of you guys who are into this particular Star Wars line for the premium format series, mixed media,
I want the one you have.
Hey man,
more Star Wars.
I got the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You did not.
I did it. I did it. I feel like a big weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I'm happy. It's not gonna be here till Monday, so that sucks.
Oh
but
god, you got a whole week, right?
a whole week, man. It's gonna be a long week.
What'd you have to do? Hawk the championship belt to get that?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, that's right. He did beat you this week, didn't he?
He did beat me. See, George is kind of a gentle soul because he won't rub it in my face, so I actually have to take it and rub it in my own face to get myself hyped.
So Vegeta says, "Hey, have they done Legend of Zelda Pops?"
No, they haven't, and that's one of the things too. Like the first Nintendo license they actually just acquired was for that
Pikachu.
Target exclusive Pikachu.
Oh wow!
So supposedly they worked everything out with Nintendo, and we will be seeing Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, maybe Bowser. We'll be seeing those maybe in the near future.
That'd be cool. But now they got Pikachu, right? Because then now they can actually break into
Well, it's
Nintendo.
Pokemon. Well, Pokemon again is separate from like Mario and all that other and all that other stuff. Even though it's still Nintendo in a sense, but yeah. So they started out with Pikachu. I guess they wanted to see what the reception would be on that, and they sold out of it. Sold out of it.
Can imagine.
So I would love to see them make a 10-inch stick with the Pokemon and make a 10-inch Charizard. That thing would be sick.
So. They also did this Fist of the North Star statue. I know I wasn't going to go into it, but since it popped up when I was trying to show the other one, I guess I'll show you guys. So that they got this Fist of the North Star Kenshiro statue. So that's kind of cool from Prime One Studios. That should be dropping anytime soon.
What, 1/3?
Yeah, probably. I didn't see what the scale was on this, but Prime One, it's gonna be big. So cool stuff. And then finally, well, two things as far as non-collecting. One was, did you guys hear about that? I forgot what the company interviewed Wesley Snipes, but apparently there's talks of bringing Blade back to the MCU.
Ah, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense. It's rated R.
I know. So, but
Netflix.
Netflix. That's what I'm thinking.
Netflix. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. If they can make
not if Marvel's going to start their own streaming service.
It's called Netflix.
Yeah, but remember, Marvel's starting their own thing, and they're going to be taking all the Marvel stuff now.
That's DC.
No. Disney's
Marvel
starting
has
their own
Netflix.
streaming service.
Well, yeah, DC has a streaming service, but Disney has a streaming service also.
I don't think they're going to take that genre from Netflix though, because these are Netflix originals that were produced in conjunction with Netflix. They're not prior properties that Disney has.
Well, what I heard was since Disney technically owns the majority of Hulu, that anything that's rated R like that would end up just staying on Hulu.
You mean Netflix?
No,
Hulu?
is what I'm saying.
Wait a minute, I'm so confused. Wait,
There's too many.
what is on Hulu?
There's too many streaming services.
What is on Hulu right now?
Disney
If
bought,
Hulu's on first,
Yeah.
where's Netflix?
Yeah, where's Netflix? I don't know where Netflix
when
is.
Disney bought Fox, they got a lion's share of Hulu. I think is what they ended up getting.
Gotcha.
So what the some of the talks are is that there's a lot of licenses that they acquired through Fox that are rated R. There's no buttering that up and making it look Disney-fied. You're definitely not going to have a PG Alien movie or Predator.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So
then wouldn't they want to keep that under the Fox banner then?
So they would do, and I'm thinking they probably would keep that under the Fox banner, but that would move to the Hulu platform, not the Disney platform. So
But what does that have to do with Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, all of the Netflix originals? Those things.
It doesn't have anything to do with it, but if they didn't want to give it to Netflix, it could end up on Hulu. So that'd be another choice for that. Another point about the Blade thing is, or another thing to bring up is that Wesley Snipes still wants to play Blade. Do you think?
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
No,
Yes.
No.
Do you think he should?
No,
And his argument about that is that you're not going to find another person that knows the character like him, that has martial arts training,
I'm not buying.
All that.
Yep.
Not buying.
I love Wesley Snipes Blade, all three movies.
I love Wesley Snipes, but sometimes it's time to know when to say when.
There is no time to say when. I think he's still in peak physical shape to where he could probably still pull it off.
All right, Harrison Ford.
Well, first of all,
funny,
he's
'cause Indiana Jones was on
20
today.
something.
What did you say, George?
Indiana Jones was on TV today, like all three of them.
Yeah, we won't mention the fourth one. It's all
Okay,
right.
yeah, he can show up and then he dies and something else takes over.
We'll see. I mean, I think it was pretty cool to hear that it could be coming back, though.
Yeah. He's only
So-
56, so I guess he's not that old.
No, he's not like Harrison Ford's like tipping 80 already?
Probably. But he already died, so. No, not in Indiana Jones, though.
Yeah, see, like Jesse Hernandez is asking, how old is Snipes? And I kind of agree with that on that. I
56.
think at this point, he's reached a point where I feel like what they should do with the story is make him like a mentor for a new...
Make him like
Sensei.
Whistler, like Whistler was for him.
Yes.
Harrison Ford is 76.
Well, no, he was talking about Snipes.
Right, he's 56.
Snipes is 56?
Yes.
Damn, he's young.
He's still young.
I'm
man.
glad
He's
you think
got
that's
plenty.
young. I like you, George. I like you, George.
It's past your bedtime, Calvin.
Shut up. I like George.
All right. So then before, to leave out on, at least on my note, was Star Wars. We haven't talked anything Star Wars today. I feel like we need to have something Star Wars.
And Roy's not even in the chat.
Roy's not even in the chat. Roy wasn't even in the chat.
Roy wasn't here. Roy wasn't here for this one. So I found out that they're going to be opening up a cantina inside of the new Star Wars theme park they're having at Disneyland and Disney World. So this one I think is called Olga's Cantina. I think is what it is. Let me get the picture up here real quick.
Wow, Colossus looks a lot like that. No.
Shut up. So this is the concept of it. So it's going to look like this, and it's going to serve alcoholic drinks, which I like because, sometimes I need a little bit of a drink before when I'm out there with the kids and everything. And I think
that'd be cool if the drinks would be. That'd be cool if the drinks would be like themed.
Yeah, the drinks are supposed to be themed. They did say that you're not going to be able to take the drinks outside of the cantina, so you have to drink inside there. But I think it's kind of cool though.
No collectible canteens.
I'm sure there's going to be. They're not gonna let that slide without selling you some kind of Star Wars merchandise.
Lewis says if Sylvester Stallone can do Rambo, then Wesley Snipes should be able to do Blade.
Thank you.
I agree with that.
I kind of agree with that too.
I agree with that.
But I mean, even with Sylvester Stallone's Rambo, he was more at like an older age. They go with that. He's kind of in the jungle trying to keep to himself. He's not in the shape that he was for the first or third Rambo. Definitely not the third Rambo. So
no, they definitely had to up the steroids for him to get.
Oh my god!
Get built on that.
And then how are you going to deal with the fact that Blade is a vampire that they don't age like us? So he should be the same look.
Good point.
Hey, George, it's a movie. He does age. It's not real life.
But yeah, it's a comic. It's a movie based on a comic.
He's gonna get old.
Yeah.
Vegeta's like Rambo doesn't do backflips and stuff.
All right. So, like I said,
Captain Puerto Rico has to go.
Because Captain Puerto Rico has to go. He has a hot date.
Hey, Calvin, can you call my Best Buy and see if they can hold one of these Spider-Man collector's editions for me? Can you pull some strings?
I want the Calvin for you, man. Let's see what I can do for you, man.
I definitely want the statue.
Oh God, you guys.
So this was a great show, man. I had an awesome time interviewing Mufizal with you guys. You guys did a great job. The chat was alive. I thought it was great. So awesome. I can't wait for the next one.
You guys had great questions.
Yeah. So I can't wait for our next one. We got to figure out what we're gonna do next. We're trying to keep this ball rolling because I like the idea of having guys to interview, from all types of walks.
We can interview the winner next. We can interview the winner next Monday night of the pop off this Thursday night.
Okay. Well, I'm ordering Thor though. By the way, I just looked at my points.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna order Thor myself. I feel like Mufizal was right about that.
That was great. Honestly, that was great though. That he put someone else on the spotlight and put someone on the pedestal like that. Because most people would just say their own stuff, but for him to say Daniel Bell, that speaks volumes of him as a person and a collector and a fan.
Absolutely. Hey, don't want Puerto Rico to be late for his date. So, Cap.
I don't even have what? Yeah. Oh, yes.
I got a date with Lucille.
It better be a date, man. Nothing. Only a date could be more important than that geek show.
Right.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
That's a lie to me, bro.
You ain't gotta lie, Craig.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for this show. I really appreciate that. You can catch more episodes just like this every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on MCE. You can catch also more videos like this, like Calvin's Statue Fanatic, what's popping with Seth and all of his craziness that he does when he goes hunting for pops and fighting the good fight against Target.
I almost got jumped today by a whole bunch of Target employees. They're on to me.
Let's go. We'll move on. We're gonna a new episode.
You can catch all those,
and the conspiracy corner will be back next week.
Yeah, conspiracy corner will be back with a new conspiracy. So you can catch all of that stuff at mcecentral.com as well as a wealth of information on collecting, movies, video games, all kinds of other geek stuff. It's because that's what we like talking about. So again, guys, thank you for joining us. Catch more episodes like this next week. See you next time. And until then, keep it marvelous.
Keep it marvelous.
And that's what's popping.
This guy. Gotta drop his line.
Are we still live?